Welcome to Diary of an Ex-Ho. I'm Cheri Hardman. I'm your ex-ho, and today's guest is Ray Bentson. So sit back, enjoy the episode, and remember the old saying, always a bridesmaid when you're a hoe.
Yeah, I'm Raymond. I'm from Elma, Washington. I'm straight, he, him pronouns. And yeah.
Relationship status?
Oh, sorry, I was single, but kind of budding.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, the first thing we do is marry, shag, kill. And it was a little bit of a challenge not knowing you very well, but I got one. So let's go do that.
Marry, shag, kill. Gotcha.
Right. Let's make it a slideshow.
Okay.
All right, you can see that?
Yeah.
All right, so there's going to be 3 people. You get to marry one, shag one, and kill one.
Okay.
What I did was, since I saw you had a language academy, I chose 3 women who are multilingual.
Oh, nice.
This is not it. It's the next.
Okay.
So we have Gwyneth Paltrow, Penelope Cruz, and Mila Kunis.
Oh,
who are you
man.
going to marry? Who are you going to shag? Who are you going to kill?
I'm going to 100% marry Penelope Cruz. I'm going to shag Mila Kunis, and I'm going to kill Gwyneth Paltrow for the good of mankind.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Good job.
Did I pass?
Yeah.
Good.
All right. And when it comes to sex, would you rather watch or be watched?
Be watched, and I think that has to do with doing stand-up.
Because you're used to being on stage, or you're used to making people laugh?
Oh yeah, well both. Those go hand in hand, right? Yeah. I feel like I can make it work.
All right. When you were growing up, what did your parents or whoever raised you, what do they call private parts?
They call them pretty much just private parts or either junk or we're it was mostly my brother and I. So my dad would just say, "Watch your dick" or "Watch your penis," because we grew up on a farm. So lots of appendages getting cut off and stuff. So.
Oh yeah. So were your parents together?
Yeah.
Okay.
Still together. Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, good. Do you think they were good relationship role models?
Yeah. I've only ever in my whole life seen them like yell one time at each other.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how has that affected you and your relationships?
Well, definitely, like my business up until the pandemic was international trade communications, and it made me a very effective communicator. I really think had a lot to do with it because they would just talk calmly to each other and like be understood, make it easy for them to be understood, and they would seek to understand the other person.
Mm-hmm.
And that has definitely affected how I communicate. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna go to what I call sexual awakening. So like when you were a kid and you first like noticed sex was a thing. Now for you it might have been on a farm, but I'm talking more like within humans, like either somebody told you about sex or you started noticing changes in your body. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Oh yeah. Well, I was homeschooled for a while. So when I went to public school, I started being able to notice girls. So and I remember I had a crush on this blonde girl with glasses in my 5th grade class, and I didn't know what I was feeling, but I was feeling something. And it became much clearer later on, right? And that's actually when they first did the sex ed talks was in 5th grade. And I was thinking, this doesn't apply to me at all. And then later, like a few months later, I was like, oh, this does apply to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have any celebrity crushes back then?
Oh yeah. Man. Uh that's so long ago. And they changed, but I was really into Star Wars. And, in the original movies, there was only one woman in all of Star Wars, right? So Princess Leia in Return of the Jedi, she was definitely one of my earlier crushes. And but that's not really a celebrity, that's a character, right? So I guess I'd have to say Carrie Fisher. But uh and then I was fascinated with languages ever since I was 7 years old. I distinctly remember that. So basically every Hispanic woman I saw on Telemundo.
Ah, so so what's your type? Is that your type?
Yeah, I guess my type, if I were to um kind of narrow in on it, is I really like to um be able to learn something that's very different from what I've experienced up to this point, right? So like um and mostly it has to do with being able to learn new languages. I learned French explicitly because of my French girlfriend, right? And then I
Oh,
studied French at the university, and then I studied Russian for a while because I had a crush on this Russian girl. I learned Korean because of, and I don't speak Korean anymore. I used to know a lot more Korean, but that was definitely because of a Korean girl. So um, I tend to date for linguistic purposes. you know
that's interesting.
it's
Yeah.
very like intriguing, it just like makes me very motivated to want to know more about them.
Right. Now, I dated a Mexican guy for a while who didn't
Mm.
speak any English at all.
Oh wow.
And the only conversation we could have was like I said La Cucaracha one time, and then he went like, "Oh yeah, yeah," like that. That was it. So
Did you find that hard, did you find that difficult to
um, we just had sex. So
okay, so you did find it hard.
we didn't. Yeah, I did. Yeah, we didn't do any talking. Um, so have you ever? Has there been? I mean, a mainstream movie, and I mean, you could, but like a scene in particular that you always thought was hot or you always kind of remembered. Can you think of one?
um I remember yeah, I really on the movies today, and I was just my headspace is not in movies right now. But
Mm.
I remember growing up, you know, oh man. So obviously you got the slave bikini scene with Princess Leia on Star Wars on the barge on Jabba's barge, and I remember having a overwhelming urge to be like, we need to set this slave woman free. Yeah, like a savior complex, because of Princess
Right.
Leia, which is probably not a not a healthy thing to have at a young age. But yeah. Then oh, I remember there was this Kurt Russell movie. Um, what is it, like 5,000 miles of Graceland? That seemed like too many miles, right? Like however many miles of Graceland. You remember that movie?
Did he play Elvis?
He played an Elvis impersonator,
Oh, no, I didn't
and
see
then
that.
there was a sex scene on that movie that we had rented it. This was back in the day before we had like Netflix and stuff, so we
Right.
had movie rental places. And my mom and dad had gone to Olympia to go grocery shopping at Costco, so that's at least like 2 hours, right? And I put the movie in, and I found the sex scene, and I was like rewinding it over and over again. uh,
Now, how old are you?
I'm 36.
Okay. You're
Yeah.
a baby, a wee baby. Do you watch porn?
Yeah.
Do you have a go-to uh, genre that you are willing to admit to?
Uh, um, Go to. I don't do a lot of like searching. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like I'm the boring, like homepage, deal with what I got kind of person.
Okay, all
You know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah, I know what
Which
you.
which is weird because I feel like I'm skewing an algorithm of some sort because most of it on the homepage is like the step brother or stepsister thing.
Uh-huh.
But it's like I don't, that's just what it happens to be, and it's just on the homepage and I'm not doing any kind of like specific searches. So I feel like that's coming up a lot because it's just what's there. And so I'm probably not like affecting that algorithm in some way. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about this a little bit because I watch a lot of stepbrother, stepsister, stepfather type
Okay.
porn.
Hmm.
And for me, what I would like to see is a little bit more, oh no, we can't do that. There's no
A little
like
more story
a little more
development.
no, just a little more taboo to it. It's just like um
Okay. Well,
there's no arguing about it. Like they just like go, okay, let's do it. And I would
yeah,
like
they're
to
just
see
like,
that.
yeah, that was always the weird thing about it. I feel like the most, it really takes you out of the reality of it that they're trying to portray. Is it's like, oh, mom and dad are gone. I guess let's do it. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, I never had a step sibling before. Have you?
No, not until I was an adult.
Okay. So then I'm thinking that maybe that's why I like it. I don't know. It seems unrelatable to me. So it doesn't seem
Right.
taboo because I'm like, I don't have a personal experience to like compare
See,
it to.
I just think like uh that it would be like, oh, there's probably like a sexually charged atmosphere if your stepbrother suddenly moves in. But it'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't want to get caught. Like to me, that's the sexy part about like, oh, we're gonna get caught. Like, oh well.
Well,
Anyway,
so I remember growing up, I must have been like in middle school. I watched this like Frankenstein spinoff movie where Frankenstein the doctor, he had, when he was a kid, he had a stepsister. And then when they got older, they fell in love and had a taboo like marriage or whatever. And I always thought like when I was little, I thought, why is that wrong? Because he knows that's not his real sister. She was adopted. So why does everybody think that's so wrong? Like she's just happens to be pulled in and forced to be in this um, societal label as Frankenstein's sister, you know what I mean?
it's
So when
like
I was
Greg and Marsha Brady.
a kid, yeah. So I mean, I didn't watch the Brady Bunch a lot growing up, but was that like the similar kind of thing? You know
It
what a
was it was
Frankenstein movie I'm talking
more,
about?
three boys. Their dad moved into with a woman who had three girls, and it
Yeah.
wasn't part of the story, but it was obvious the actors
Oh.
had some chemistry going on. Like it was, even as a kid, I'm watching it. I'm like, I couldn't even probably like describe it or verbalize it at that
Yeah.
time. I just knew like, ooh, like I'd like to be Marsha and be with Greg because I could see there was a flirtation. So
Oh, okay.
yeah. But it's
Huh.
like, well, and then I think, well, there's really nothing wrong with it. They're not really related.
Yeah, I guess I could I could, if I try to think of like my closest uh way to relate to it in my life, my dad's best friend has four daughters, and I see them all as sisters, and I never think about them in that way, you know, and they're like sisters. They're definitely not blood related at all. I just don't even think about that being a possibility, you know,
Right. Right.
and so um, I guess I can't even like I never entertained that. So, but that would probably be the closest way to me for me to relate to it. But I never have those urges. I don't know. Maybe I'm the most vanilla, basic white person there is. And I just like find homepage porn and only missionary on the bed.
Well, um, That's just something that's been like stuck in my mind lately. So you brought it.
Okay.
So I had to expound on it. So, what's your
Yeah.
definition of amazing sex?
Well, at risk of sounding really cliche and douchey, I have always really kind of identified as a sapiosexual, right? And
Which means,
so, meaning that I find it the most exciting and arousing and pleasurable when I really connect with the person and respect their intelligence, right? And am impressed with them as a person, and we have really good conversations and stuff like that. And then um, just that kind of uh, brain connecting part of it is what makes it good. I've never done one night stands before. That's because it just it wasn't interesting to me. If I'm not like connecting with the person on an intellect or like maybe personality level that's fairly deep, then it's just not interesting. So like I was engaged with this French girl in college, and she taught me not only French, right, but she taught me. I was a farm boy from rural Washington, and she taught me how to be well dressed and very well behaved with classical manners and things like that. And like she taught me how to be like a nice, classy, like presentable guy. And when I had that deep affected change in me, that was something that just was very, very exciting and arousing to me. And we had a pretty amazing sex, in my opinion. And definitely not, I think the majority of it was not on a bed, right? So it was a very, yeah, adventurous.
mm-hmm. Okay.
So yeah.
All right. You want to answer we want to go to the wheel of dirty questions?
Sure.
Yeah.
What was that? Was that a stream of dirty questions and now there's like a wheel?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. We got to get out of here first. Bye, ladies. Nice little.
Oh, nice. You got some Vistaprint products?
Yeah, I was looking something up, and so now they're following me.
Oh no, suggest me and stuff.
Have you ever cheated on anyone?
No, never.
That was boring. Then let's do another one.
I think that that's kind of along the same lines of like not having a one night stand, where
Right. All right. Do you actually enjoy giving oral sex?
yeah, but it has to be with somebody that I'm fairly involved with and in love with for a long time. Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
doing that to just anybody, huh?
Yeah, because number one, it's like a hygiene thing. I don't know, kind of. I don't know. It's oral is weird because if I don't know the person very well and I don't know what their hygiene process is, then it's not very appealing to me. So
Gotcha. I think that's a pretty normal thing. Now, my husband, on the other hand, he doesn't care about that.
oh.
How's your body image?
um well I'd say for myself, you mean, yeah, that's should be obvious. I think it's okay. I'm feeling better now than I was. I last year I went through really, really debilitating arthritis, and it's getting treatment now, so I'm feeling like I can move better and stuff. But I I am. This is actually part of my stand up that I do. Is I'm actually 100 pounds shy of the weight of Harambe, right? So I'm pretty much the size of a gorilla or like a small gorilla. And after being that pretty much my whole adult life, I've kind of just accepted that that's just my body type, and I don't feel like ugly or anything. Feel
Mm-hmm.
pretty comfortable with myself. But for the sake of of keeping my flabbiness under control. I don't like to go around shirtless, you know.
Right. But you've accepted your body. You know, that's how I am with my body. Or
Uh,
so I thought, but then I went to the doctor the day and they said I lost 35 pounds since I was there last.
oh,
And I was
nice.
like, all of a sudden I'm like, oh wow, like it did something to my brain. Like, I don't know what, but
Nice.
I
So
think
this a boost of confidence?
just because it was accidental. No, then I'm like, oh well, if I've done that, maybe I could do more. You know,
Yeah.
wasn't even trying. But normally, I'm like a totally like body acceptance, fat positive type person, and so it's kind of funny that just today I've been thinking, like maybe I don't, you know, I don't know. What's the best compliment you've ever received on your naked body?
Are you frozen? Hello?
I guess we were frozen there for a second, but
Oh,
we're
sorry
good.
about that. Yeah,
Did you hear the question?
yeah.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure I did. You asked me if I've ever struggled with the body image, and
No, what's the best compliment you've ever received on your
oh,
naked body?
I did not hear that question. Okay. um well, that would definitely be when when I lived in Taiwan. I played um on the city soccer team and a South African rugby team. So I was in very good shape. And so um my girlfriend said that I looked like Brock Lesnar. And
Uh-oh. We just gotta wait. It'll come back. If not, that's a nice smile to be stuck on.
oh, sorry, we froze again.
Yeah.
I restarted my modem right before the call to make sure that it wasn't gonna be on.
It's all right. It happens.
Did you hear my answer though?
Yes, I did.
I look like, yeah, she told me I look like Brock Lesnar.
Uh, do you have any sexual regrets?
uh no, I think that all my sexual encounters were out of love and respect, and I think that um I don't even really regret any sex that I didn't have, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because my dad always says that relationships are like a fart. If you have to force it, it's probably shit, you know? And so if I ever like, I don't know, I always felt like if I ever forced anything on this somebody or tried to like dupe them into some sexual encounter, it just wouldn't I wouldn't feel good about it, you know?
Right.
So
Right. Sure.
yeah.
Do you have any items left on your sexual bucket list?
Um uh I don't really have a sexual. I must be your most boring
Well, I'm
interview.
trying not to fall asleep right now, but
Yes, sorry.
no,
Uh,
you're very sweet. I appreciate this because you know.
yeah. Well,
Right.
I've never been married, so I don't know what marital bliss sex is like, but I always hear just from the general culture that it's not as good as unmarried sex, so I don't know if I'm missing out
It's
on anything.
just different.
Yeah.
It's just different. You know, like I'm 15 years in and I'm a person that like I didn't get married till I was 49. I
Uh-huh.
thought I was going to be single till the day I died, you know, and
Uh-huh.
I was wild and all that. But
Yeah.
then I met someone who I didn't want to live without.
Yeah.
So we got married and you know, at first, you know, we were still going at it all the time. Now we're older, you know, like we're old people now. So
Mm.
we still have sex, but you know, and with a pretty good frequency, but it's just more now like we know what each other likes, so we just
Mhm.
do tend to just do it that way every time, pretty much.
Okay.
So the challenge is really to like mix it up every now and then and do something wild and crazy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it doesn't get to be like a chore, and so you just got to be mindful of that, you know.
Yeah. No, you missed the learning curve, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's
Oh,
exciting.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
What's your host song? Like, what song, when you hear it, kind of gets you fired up, wakes up your host spirit that you may have somewhere underneath?
Um, Comptine était de l'autre. The Comptine. Man, it's a long title, but it's in English. It's called "The Story of Another Summer."
Okay.
And, from the soundtrack from um, Amélie. Have you seen that movie?
Mm-mm.
It's a French movie. And when I was in France with my ex, we were walking through this park, and it was really gorgeous, and we were very, very in love. And there's these houses that they build in the parks where uh, people in the community can go to, like, they're like learning centers. And there was this kid playing that song, and I already loved that song, and it just kind of right place, right time was like the soundtrack to our relationship, you know? So,
Oh,
so, and it's a very soothing song. It's happy, but it's also very calming, you know? And um, yeah, so that one has a very special spot in my heart. Um, you know, uh,
all right.
yeah.
What is your Instagram?
It's actually Ray Bentson Language Academy. I made my whole personal Instagram into my business.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, my friend Barbara, she always makes fun of me for having personal pictures on there. She's like, "It's your professional one. You need to make it professional." So I meticulously went through and took out all my personal pictures. So
Okay. All right. Um, this episode is going to come out like a week from today. So, do you have anything around that time that you'd like to promote?
yeah, we're actually doing a new showcase comedy series in Elma at Shoejack's. So for Shoejack's Comedy, our first show ever was last Saturday with Joseph Rogers and Thomas Friday, and we had our house comedians Garrett Iverson and Gio, and it went really well. It sold out in 3 weeks, and and I would love to have you come down and do a set if
I'd
you're
love to
available
do
in the
that.
future.
My calendar is a little wide open right now. So,
Isn't it?
yeah, we'll talk. Definitely.
Yeah, and I am actually going to Indonesia tonight, and I'm going to do some stand up over there in Bali. And when I come back, I'm going to be hitting the calendar pretty hard, trying to get dates down. So I'll be in contact with you when I get back.
Well, you're going to be a comedian international.
Actually,
Um,
that's mostly what I've been for my
oh,
career.
really? Cool.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm
I've
trying to
only
get
done
used to it.
Canada, so yeah,
Yeah.
I'm jealous. All right, so I don't know if I warned you about this properly. I'm pretty sure I didn't. But at the end of the show, I always let my guest tell me a sex story from their
Mhm.
life that is entertaining in some way. Do you have anything prepared or?
Yeah, well, I have several that are very, very interesting, and but I think the one that is probably the most just silly and weird, and it really tells you kind of like where I came from, is when I when I was in high school. You know, I was a farm boy, really innocent farm boy, the classic innocent farm boy that doesn't really know anything about anything, very naive. And this girl moved in from Southern California into Elma, and everybody else around me could tell exactly what she was going after. She was trying to corrupt the innocent farm boy. I was completely oblivious to it. And I remember she was always trying to just like make like do these risky um, sex uh, venues, I guess, where like my whole family is downstairs, and she like brings me up to my room and starts doing oral, and I'm like, whoa, my whole family's right down there, you know. And then I'm a big Star Wars fan, always have been since I was real little, and the original trilogy came out on theaters again, and I was super excited about it. and we went there to watch it, and she was just wanting to have sex in the theater the whole time. And I was just like, woman, we're here to watch Star Wars. Can we please just watch the movie? You know? And I'm like fighting with her the whole time about wanting to watch the movie. But of course, I'm a teenage boy at the same time. So we ended up doing like everything. And I just know people around me must have like noticed, right? Because, you know, we're teenagers, we're not that discreet.
Mm-hmm.
But I just couldn't. That was the first time I actually really had a really hard struggle with like focusing on two things at the same time, because I was equally wanting to watch the movie and also do the stuff that she wanted to do, and I had. It's almost kind of like I have the same kind of a spotty memory of it, of when I do something really dangerous like at the farm and I black out, you know, like I have little images of like the memory, but there were definitely parts that like kind of blacked out, you know, because it was just too much for my brain to take, you know.
Right, right.
So uh hopefully that qualifies, because I got,
Yeah, she sounds like a wild woman, man.
oh yeah, my first girlfriend ever, and she was bipolar, and I had no clue what that was, but I learned real quick. And also, you know, I'm pretty sure she would fit the definition of a nympho, you know.
Right. Did she
And
ever cause any trouble for you at all?
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
One
yeah.
time she was over, well, you know, I had a driver's license, she didn't, so I picked her up, brought her over to my house, because my whole family was at Costco again. So I knew how much time we had. And, you know, we started doing stuff in the living room on the couch right in front of the front door. And this is a house in the trees where we don't really have curtains or anything, because, you know, we're deep in the forest. We
Right,
don't.
right.
So I lost track of time. I look up and there's my entire family
Oh,
standing right there with the door open, and my mom just like, Raymond, what are you doing? And I'm like,
oh no.
nothing. Nothing at all, mom. Jeez. Like, and I was like trying to like do the thing. I think Dave Chappelle had his TV show at that time, and he has a skit where he's like, plead the fifth, you know,
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth. And I was like, I have nothing to say, mother. It is what it is, and we're just gonna move on.
Oh, all right. Well, it has been so much fun talking to you. I
Likewise.
look forward to working with you in the future, and have a good trip.
Well, thank
All
you. I
that.
appreciate it. Yeah,
All right.
it's been
All right.
great.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Adios.